You see the new message?
Stop overthinking. You're being a bot.
That's just to me.
All right,
That's to me.
Let's introduce ourselves real quick because we didn't even realize that we don't introduce ourselves at the beginning of these. Yeah, y'all don't even know our names or nothing. So yeah, my name's Andrew. Should we say our ages on here?
Sure.
All right, so I'm Andrew. I'm 20 years old. And you are?
I'm Noah. I'm 76. No, I'm 21. I'm 21.
Honestly, wait, let me see that. Honestly, we're like 20 and 21 years old going on like, bro, at this point, stress levels and everything we have to figure out, I feel like we're going on like 40, bro. I looked in the mirror the other day. I was like, damn, I feel like I've aged like 5 years just based off of the last 6 months of what I had to go through. And yo, bro, I don't look the same, but hopefully, we're going to get there.
We'll be all right.
The past 6 months have been tough, man.
Not for real. The past week has been tough. Never mind the past 6 months. The past day has been tough. All right.
But I did want to ask you a question, right? This is like a question for you and like everybody else that's watching. What is, on the spot, what is your definition of happiness? I wanted to hear this from you.
My definition of happiness.
Like true happiness.
So like just happiness in life. So like you wake up and you're just happy. Like you just got it all.
There's nothing that's
Okay.
like immediate that's going to mess up your day. You know what I mean?
My definition of happiness is
Made it,
right.
you're happy.
So I feel like my definition of happiness is the same as like my definition of success and like making it. It's literally to be at peace to the point where nothing in life really phases me or bothers me. And to have a family, like my own family around me. So like wife, and I'm raising kids. And I have a house. I have a successful career. Like I have the tools around me to just build my family, and like I would call it like my legacy, you know?
Yeah.
Right? So I don't care about money. I don't care about my definition of happiness and success is literally be at peace in my brain, have like a solid mental health, and just have that family around me. Like, my parents and siblings, of course, but then, my own family, like my wife, kids, and the house to live in, and just be okay and just start building. Like start teaching my kids, start being that father and being there for them. And that's like my goal. That's where I want to get to. I don't care about being rich or anything like that. Obviously, like the more money you have, the more you're actually able to do, which is great. Like if I become rich and have a lot of money to, be kind of extra for my family, that would be great. But like the goal is not money. The goal is just to be financially okay enough to raise a family successfully.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I'm at. How about you?
That's a cool answer.
What's yours?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this when I wrote it down, but I didn't really come up with the answer for it myself. Yeah. But hearing you talk, you're absolutely right. It's not all about money. I think about this all the time, though. My true definition of happiness is actually leaving a legacy, so to speak. Like, a legacy sounds like a big word, but it's just...
Yeah. No, I feel that.
It's being remembered for something and having an impact on people, maybe not people that you know, but people that you don't know that will know about you, and the people that already know about you.
Right.
That's like
you just want to leave the world. Like you want to be able to die but still be like people know.
that's a major thing for me, cuz I truly believe that for people, I think it's a failure for people to live their entire lives and never be remembered for anything.
Oh, yeah.
As you think about like these people that are, I mean, I don't really want to refer to them as like these average people, right. But like the people that you just see around, just living their life as if there's no bigger purpose. Yeah. I feel like when they go away, they pass away, whatever, nobody's gonna remember them for anything. They'll be like, oh, he didn't contribute to society in any way, you know, he didn't do this, like he wasn't on the earth doing what he was supposed to do, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to do. I want to fulfill my role, whatever purpose that may be. You know, I mean, we could boil it down to simpler terms where it could be like, oh yeah, have kids, you know, whatever, but there's more to what we can do. And I really want to, like, even if I have to live my whole life, obviously I want to be successful and I will be, but if I have to live my whole life building something, even though I may or may not see like the actual, like, I don't know, think of it as if I was like building a kingdom, right? Yeah. And I were to go before it's finished, but it's finished for my kids and kids and things like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know. So like I know for a fact that I will be able to see at least the fruits of my labor while I'm alive, but if I can leave something that'll last even past when I'm gone, that's like my happiness right there.
Okay, yeah.
But if it was like happiness as in like just because I could find happiness right now if I really tried to, but yeah, my happiness would be being remembered for someone, for something. That when I'm older and I go, people can be like, they can pull knowledge from me. Be like, yeah, he said this changed my life, you know what I mean? And not just be a nobody, you know?
No, I feel you. I want to add a little bit to mine. So like, also added on to like the good mental health, being at peace, and then having my family. Another thing I wanted to say is like finding my purpose in that fulfillment. Like feeling fulfilled.
We'll find that in God, man.
Right. Like I want to know, you know, not only do I want to like, you know, be there for my family, but like with that, I want to have the purpose. I want to be able to find the purpose on like why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be doing, kind of just like for myself. And then I guess that can tie with like being at peace mentally and stuff. But I think like a big part of happiness also is just finding your purpose so that you can feel that fulfillment. Yeah.
So that question brings me to one of the quotes that I heard today while I was at work. Because what I do at work, I've told you this a million times, but I don't listen to music at work. Every once in a while I will, but I don't for the most part. I straight up just listen to podcasts, interviews, people who are successful, people that are, you know, grinding it out, self-improvement videos, all this stuff, right? I'm just trying to get better because most people at work just blast music and they're being degenerates, honestly. They're just working and numbing their minds away from the fact that they're working. But we work for a purpose, right? So I was listening to a Sneeko interview, right? He was on a podcast. And he said, one of his quotes was, don't steal your future happiness by not doing what you're supposed to do today. And we were actually kind of talking about this yesterday, so it kind of ties in a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't say that word for word.
Not word for word. But it's a really good quote, and I was thinking about it today while working. I was like, dang, that was a lot deeper than I thought it would be, because they were talking about delayed gratification, all that stuff, which is all great. But like, really think about that. Like, don't steal your future happiness by not doing what you're supposed to do today. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. We were like, oh, we need to do what we need to do now.
Like all the work that we want to put in now. All the work that we want to put in now. And, you know, it literally takes every day to put in a step or two to get to like the end goal, like where we want to be. So like, we talk about where we want to be all the time, but up until recently where we decided to actually like start putting in the work, we were always like, nah, we'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to put this off. You know, we can't be doing, we have to actually like use every day that we have like it's valuable, because every day is valuable. You can at least do one productive thing every day. And even if you do just one thing every day, it builds up every day, and eventually you're going to get closer to that goal. Right. So like, say for us right now, like we're trying to build this podcast and like make it big, right? If we don't use every day to edit the content and make it what people want to watch, like we haven't been doing that. We just film and then upload it. But
imagine, all right, let's see. Sorry to cut you off, but imagine like how crappy it would be, right? If we continued to do the same thing on here. So like, remember this when we first started? Yeah. Like, yeah, we had the lights, yeah, we had the camera, but like, what if we didn't go out and find this cord? What if we didn't go out and find this mic? Right. Or the other mic, or get the audio interface we're about to get, or switch up the look and, you know, talk to each other instead of sitting side by side. Coming up with those, coming up with those ideas that we're gonna, you know, make a backdrop, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, we would be, if we, tying back to that quote, we would be stealing our future happiness by not doing what we're supposed to do in the moment, by not improving the look of said podcast. You know what I mean? Exactly. Because in the future, right, let's say this thing were to get big, I think it will. I know it will, actually. If we put in the time and work
to like make it what we want it to, there's no way it won't.
Exactly. So if we didn't do that, we'd be stealing our future happiness, because this will bring some sort of fulfillment, because we know we're doing something good. Yeah. We'd have more to do, but we know we're doing something productive, spreading some sort of value, right. And we would get happiness from that, knowing that we're helping out other people. But if we didn't do that, we'd be stealing our future happiness. So I love that quote a lot. Yeah. That was the one thing I did want to put in the live. So for the people that are watching live, we don't have the live pulled up only because it will kind of distract us from what we're talking about right now until we know how to do it live. Thanks. So if y'all are watching and commenting, that's why we're not commenting back. But we appreciate you watching if you're there. But yeah. So that's the thing about YouTube. I wanted to plug the YouTube in the title, or say like link in bio or something like that. But it only gave me 32 characters to work with. So I just said self-improvement. Yeah, there you go. I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, I was gonna say another thing I had written down. So what is the alternative of not working hard? And that would be mediocrity.
The alternative of not working hard.
Yeah.
The best you could get is mediocrity. Yeah. No. Yeah. So the alternative to not working hard and like putting in the work to get what you want is literally best case scenario mediocrity. Like, and that's not even guaranteed. If you sit and do nothing, like what's that quote? Like you reap what you sow. Yeah. Right. Like, is that how you say it? Yeah. Something like that. Almost spot on. Anyway. Yeah. Like if you sit and do nothing, your life is gonna be nothing. You know, if you sit in that mindset, like if you do, you know, a little bit of work here and there, but you're not consistent with it, that's probably where you're going to get the mediocrity. Like you're going to see some improvement, but it's not going to be consistent. You're going to have like all these ups and downs or whatever.
I need to say something, bro. So, yeah. So the alternative of not working hard, right? Yes, you don't get what you want per se, right? But you also end up like this jackass that I seen earlier on the road. All right, I'm sick. Bro, this was the worst thing I've ever seen. This was just a few hours ago. I'm driving back home from the gym, right? And this guy, he's like driving in between the lanes, swerving around and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I stop at the intersection right where Chapel View and Garden City are, right? Yeah. It's like right before that one. There's like another intersection. It's like right before. And I'm looking back at this dude. I'm like, why was he driving so crazy? He rolls down his window screaming at the girl behind me. She's like our age, right? And he's going, learn how to effing drive. You're in the fast lane, but you're going slow. Yeah, and then he calls her like a effing immigrant. I was like, yo! Oh, that's crazy. But then I realized something. Because, first of all, that made me really mad. The fact that you would turn to that immediately, right? when someone makes you mad or inconveniences you in any way whatsoever, which is really insignificant, right? But then I realized that's the alternative of not working hard. You become that individual that gets mad about someone driving slow in a fast lane, or you flip what on somebody just because of a minor inconvenience. That's the type of person you become if you don't do what you're supposed to do. You don't work hard and you don't have a purpose. You know what I mean? Like, think about it like this, right? Before I hand this over to you, if you're like a top 1% dude, right? You're on your grind. You're working hard. And I see this with myself, and I'm not saying I'm perfect in any way or anything like that, or I'm this like good person, but I'm so focused on making it. I'm so focused on being successful in everything I do. So focused on being nice to people and spreading positivity in any way I can, that even though I get mad when I get stuck behind drivers like that, I would never flip like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's an individual that isn't happy where he is in life, and that minor inconvenience allowed him to degrade another human being. Think about it like that.
No, that's what I was basically going to say, is like, he is a perfect example of, like, he is clearly not happy with himself, which is why it's so easy for him to just flip that switch and, basically project it on other people, right? So, like, other people, like, we can say me and you because we're not like that. Like, we have that kind of sense of, like, that we have that different mindset than he has. That, like, we still get mad too, but it's not as easy for us to just flip like that and self-project. Because, like,
degrade another person.
And, degrade another person. So he's clearly so far, like, low in life, to the point where, like, he's just, that's his first instinct. Like, that's his first thought, is to just turn right to that. And it's like you said, it's self-projection.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like, when people basically, like, say the first thing that comes to mind or do the first action that comes to mind, it's very easy to see kind of, like, who that person is. So yeah, I mean, like, in certain situations when it requires you to kind of act in the moment and, like, just split-second decisions, you know, especially, like, when getting someone mad or something like that, it's easy to kind of pinpoint where people at in their lives. Because, like, you know, when you have, like, troubling times like that, you know, that's where the self-projection comes out, and it's like, I mean, I wouldn't get to that level ever, but, like, some people are so down bad that, like, they just take it out on everything around them, every person, just everything.
And so what all that does, right, is tie back to the original question, is, like, your definition of happiness. And obviously you can tell that guy is not happy. So if you're wondering, anybody who's watching, or even myself or you, if you're wondering, like, what happiness is, it's just the opposite of that. Don't end up like that. Don't be so, first of all, don't accept, like, mediocrity. Don't accept less for yourself. I mean, this podcast is literally called Never Settle. Don't settle for a life that man is going through, because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the worst person ever and that he's just done for, but clearly in some area he has settled, and now he's not happy that he has settled, and now he has to deal with minor inconveniences where he'll flip on just a person just living their life, you know? So if you want to find true happiness, don't settle, and don't end up like that dude, honestly. I mean, he's about to be our mascot now. Don't end up like Driver Man near Chapel View.
Give him a name.
Because we'll use Jackass. Jackass, yeah. No, I don't know. Wait, no, I gotta come up. You know what? He looked like a hog. We'll call him Hog Man.
Yo, I love that.
He looked like a hog with sunglasses. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He was pissed. I was like, yo. He was tight for no reason, bro.
We just trademarked that. So we got
Hogman.
Hogman is what we strive not to be. And nah, it's funny though, because so you brought up never settling, and that's obviously like our title and everything, right? But just a simple thing that I wanted to bring up is the younger you realize that, well, the younger that you get into the mindset of never settling, the better your life is gonna be.
Absolutely.
Because like there's right. There's some people that don't have the mindset that we have and are like, you know, years ahead of us, like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, right? And even if they were to kind of switch their mindset to it now, it's kind of too late. Like you spend, you know. So like the younger you realize that like the mindset of never settling is the way to go, that's literally the first part of change, and the first part of success is the mindset. So if you're in the mindset of never settling, that's obviously the first step, and from there, you know, the possibilities are endless, because from there, like once you get into that mindset, and especially like being super young, like some people have gotten into this mindset at like 16 and they're millionaires by 20, 21, right? So the younger that you kind of realize that settling is not the way to go, the better your life is going to be, and the quicker it's going to come to you too, because you have a lot more time to work with. So yeah.
Yeah, so like if you're young like us, or even if you're a little bit older, but like you're just still trying to like figure out what's the first step into like trying to improve yourself and get better, just realize in your mind right now to not settle for what these people say that you have to settle for. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for people that are just bad for your life. Don't settle for things that are going to don't settle for music that's not going to help you improve. Don't settle for not going to the gym. Don't settle, man. Always strive for better, honestly.
This has nothing to do with anything that we have talked about so far, but this is fresh in my head from today, and I kind of just wanted to get it out. Yeah, it's fresh in my head from today, and I kind of just wanted to speak on it while it is fresh in my head. So as far as like relationships go, right?
Oh no.
No. Is that what you think?
No, I'm not.
Oh, nah, not even relationships, because relationships is kind of the version of what I'm gonna say, like that's been in my life before, but this applies for anything. So it does apply for anything, but I'm gonna use it in the example of like you're being in a relationship.
We don't care over here. Let's go.
Right? So say you get into a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a new girlfriend. And it's still kind of fresh. Like
you're in the honeymoon stage.
Yeah, I mean you're in the honeymoon stage, like you're still kind of getting to know the person.
Yeah.
Right? One thing I realized, and I realized this like years ago, like when I was like in my first like real relationship. At the beginning, there's a lot of like, this is how my brain works, right? And I know if my brain works like this, there's got to be other people out there that kind of think like this. So it's so easy for me to get into some kind of like relationship or talking stage or something like that, and immediately jump to what it could be like in the future, right? So like my brain is so quick to jump to, oh, I wonder what this is going to look like in a week, in a month, in a year, in fucking 10 years.
So yeah,
right? Like, yeah, my brain works so rapidly that it's like as soon as I get into something, sometimes it's like, and not even just a relationship. Like it could be literally anything new that comes into my life. My brain is so quick to just run with it and picture myself either with that person or doing whatever it is that I'm doing in the future. And like having that whole plan. So why this is so dangerous is because, like, say either whatever situation you're in doesn't work out or that relationship that you're in doesn't work out, right? Now you have all these false expectations and almost like false memories in your head of things that like you thought could happen and were gonna happen. You know what I mean? So like I'll go back to the relationship example. Say you get into something. You're in that honeymoon phase. You know, things seem to be going great. And you just start thinking, man, I wonder, you know, you have some things coming up. Like, you know, you got summer coming up. You got like all these things that you're thinking about. Like, damn, it's going to be awesome when I'm with her or him for this week, for this month. You know, in a year from now, we're going to be this. Like, it's so dangerous to jump that way because the second it doesn't work out, say she dips, like she's gone forever, right? Like you didn't expect it, but it didn't work out and she's gone. Now you have all this like false, I for lack of a better word, I say like false memories, but also like false like expectations of like, yeah. So now you have to get over something that never existed in the first place.
Oh, boom. That's sauce right there, bro.
Bro, yeah. So, I mean,
how many times
getting into something new, whether it's a relationship, just to basically sum this up, getting into a relationship or just something new that you're like super excited about, it's super dangerous to let your brain kind of just run with the idea of what it could be like in the future, right? So this is why I'm kind of in the mindset of like take one day at a time from now on with just anything in my life. Because all you can really control and focus on is what that day is to bring, right? But it's super dangerous to just let your brain run with the thought of what could be, because the minute something goes wrong or the minute something does not work out, you now have to fix your brain and basically, you know, get rid of all these false expectations and false memories that occurred in your brain when they never even existed in the first place. They never even existed, but you were so caught up in what could be that you now have to kind of erase it from your brain, even though it never existed.
You gotta get over
you know?
Almost.
Yeah. Basically, you have to get over like the physical, like realistic things that actually happened while you're in that, whatever it is that you were in, and you have to get over all of your thoughts of the future and like what could have been. And
think about it so much, it almost becomes reality.
So, you know, especially with like my past ex-girlfriends and all that, that's where I really learned it and like had this problem originate from. And I had to get over all the thoughts of like what could have been. And that was almost harder than getting over like what realistically actually happened.
Yep. I can attest to that.
Right? Like it's so hard because it's almost like the expectations of the future almost brought you more happiness than like being in the actual situation in the moment.
Yep.
So I feel like that's why it's harder to get rid of that. Than it is to actually get over like what actually realistically happened.
Hey man, that's all facts, bro. It's crazy, but if y'all really about it, y'all are gonna listen to that, take that knowledge, and you know, use it to your advantage in whatever endeavor you decide to take the next day. So, actually gonna end the video now, and I think. Do you want to stay on the live for a little bit longer and see if there's anything? All right, so.
Yeah, we can end the video
Hold on to that real quick.
Because we don't got to film us talking to the live.
Let me just. Never Settle podcast. Yeah, we'll be back. You know, back and better than ever.
We're gonna look back on this episode because this is the first episode that's gonna start the real growth.